And what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is today's XLM analysis video. I have Sean with me today. Sean, say hi.
Good morning, guys.
So, markets are looking rather interesting. While we did have some amazing closes yesterday, it appears that, much of it has taken a pullback. Now, we figured that, we dissect XLM in this video, and then we will meet you guys for the live stream to dissect the rest. What say you, Sean?
I say okay, but hey, what's going on, Krisha? You sound down. I think there's a lot of opportunity. Like, yes, Bitcoin did have a ugly rejection. When I look at some of these altcoins over here, interesting is the correct word, but interesting with excitement, in my opinion. Ethereum looking good, a few others looking good, but hey, we're here to talk about XLM, so let's start with that.
Okay, so the first thing what we're going to do is, we're going to pan on over to the Mango dashboard and see what XLM is telling us on the dashboard. So I'm currently on that daily time frame. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and quickly filter out XLM. As you can see on the daily, XLM USDT is in a neutral trend change right now. Okay, now this trend change came in 5 days ago. All right, but now look at this, Sean. XLMBTC is long. Okay, and this came in 9 days ago. Now, if you did take a trade on this, you're currently up 0.87%. So now let's get onto the charts and really kind of dissect XLM and see what it's doing. So we're currently on that Poloniex exchange. Okay, so the ticker on Poloniex is different. It is STRUSDT. All right, STR is the ticker. We use it because it is more rich in price history. Now, Sean, I'm currently on that weekly time frame since we did close a weekly candle yesterday. So let's go ahead and dissect that first. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly draw in, immediate regions of support and resistance. And let me know if you have something different on your chart. But the one that I'm seeing as resistance for XLM right now is coming in at around that 31-cent region. Okay, that's my first region of resistance that I have. And let's mark some immediate support underneath us. And I think immediate support comes in around here, actually. Yeah, that's coming in at around 20 cents, 21 cents.
Yeah, that's a huge range.
Yeah.
So I have a zone overhead from 30 cents to 35, right? And underneath my support zone is all the way from 19 to 16. So I've been looking at this on the weekly time frame. The thing about XLM is that, yes, you can look at it on the weekly time frame to mark out your support and resistance zones, but you're almost forced to play it on the lower time frames, mid to lower time frames, because it doesn't give you much of an opportunity to wait for the weekly. So people seem to get excited about XLM and just rush into the trade. And you can see the weekly candle, the one coming in at the beginning of the year, Jan 4th, we just plowed right through and went from one region to the other in no time. So now it's sitting in the middle of the range, pretty much, come down to around the 25-cent region. So very simple support and resistance play on the weekly time frame. But Krisha, I really think we should be looking at the mid time frames for this analysis.
I agree, but I just wanted to sort of drill one point in terms of XLM USDT, and I think it's important. These all signatures on XLM's chart, right? And if you're playing this aggressively, then it's important to understand these signatures. What Sean was talking about was like, look at this candle right here, guys. This candle alone was 190%, not including the wicks. It can literally jump from one range to the next one in no time. Right, but now let's pan on over to, the lower time frames. I am going to go on to the daily. Which time frame do you want to get onto?
Yeah, the daily looks good.
Okay, perfect. So daily, let's put on that. Sorry, go on.
Right over here on the daily, I do have it open with my support and resistance lines marked out from the weekly. You can see, right, there was an opportunity right over there on the 11th of Jan that came all the way down to our support zone. Now, this happened on the daily, but it was a weekly level nonetheless. So yes, look at your weekly levels to mark out some nice support and resistance zones, but then the mid time frames on a chart like XLM is going to give you good opportunity. And you can see how we got picked up right over there. In fact, that had, I'm not sure, Krisha, if you have your Mango dynamic up and running, but perfect confluence, right? This is what it's a dynamic indicator that gives you trend and support and resistance lines all in one. And right over there, it picked up the volatility there right on that support zone and, took you all the way back up to the resistance area coming at 30 cents. And this is what I look for when I'm looking at a chart like XLM. I'll mark out my higher time frame resistance zones and support zones. And then because the chart moves so aggressively, I will look at the mid time frames to get good entries or even exits.
Yeah. And man, like I'm looking at the dynamic right now, it's looking bloody brilliant. Okay, so I mean, even right now, so I'm looking at price action at this range. All right, now we're currently using the dynamic as resistance overhead, and that is coming in at around 27 cents. You think that if we can take back the 27-cent region, we could see a rally back up to resistance at around 31 cents?
Yeah, but honestly, to me, the trade is towards the downside over here. There's not much edge from 25 to 30 in terms of the volatility at the very least, because if we have to be asking the question, Kusha, what happens if we close a daily candle underneath 24.9, right? So basically 25 cents. If we close a candle underneath there, I'll be looking for this to come all the way down to 19. And this is indicative of what Bitcoin may want to do too, because Bitcoin is looking a little bit precarious itself.
Yeah.
So unless Bitcoin turns this picture around, which is pretty bearish, this picture over here, I would lean towards the downside. That being said, you could look at this as a bull flag, right? Yes, it has a descending triangle structure. That's what I have drawn out over here, by the way. But at the same time, you have a nice pole coming in from the 4th of Jan leading all the way to the 6th of Jan, 3 massive candles into a resistance zone, nice little pole over there, and now consolidation, right? So it's really easy now to start looking for a break of this trend towards the upside, right? This consolidation phase. That's what we are in right now. This could break down, this could break up. And by the way, for those of you who do have dynamic, that's what the purple means, by the way. We've gone into a consolidation phase, and you could either choose to stay in your trade, depending on, of course, where your entry is, your comfort levels, blah blah, or you can choose to be like, you know what, I'm gonna step out for a little bit and wait for a decision to be made. Now, I'm not in an XLM trade, so let's say I was looking at this through a brand new entrant in the market, right? I wouldn't be looking to enter here, right? It's not a point where I'd want to enter. I'd be looking to enter only about 30 cents at this point, Kusha.
Yeah.
Or waiting for the dynamic to flip green and start sloping upwards. Now, the perfect situation would be for that to happen exactly when we close about 30 cents. So if we close a daily about 30 cents and the dynamic also flips green, I'd be like, all right, cool. This is too easy of a trade now, right? So.
Exactly. But yeah, good catch on the descending triangle there. I think that if this does break down now on a pattern perspective, the measured move will take XLM down to 15 cents. At that point, I think we sort of risk losing that daily structure in a way. We wouldn't get there because we have to essentially take out this wick low right here. But yeah, daily structure is in danger at that point. But I'm also noticing the wick, Sean. So the wick that you mentioned that came in on Jan 11th, then we had another one that made a higher low on 22nd of Jan.
Yep.
I'm noticing that on those lower time frames, this could turn into a potential symmetrical as well, which will then sort of really put your entire thesis of a bull flag, a potential bull flag, under the spotlight there.
Exactly. So in this kind of situation, Kusha, what I do like to look for is now's the time where you're looking for consolidation with a possible descending triangle, but then you're also seeing the higher lows, right? Clear higher lows. You're like, all right, cool. This could go either way. Could I be looking for a little bit more information? Let's do some detective work over here where I can get a few more clues to get my edge on the right side or my bias on the right side with some more edge. And we can look at the oscillators now. The Mango Mother, particularly your RSI too, right? Just look at that, Kusha, and you can see that, hey, we do have a potential chance of triggering bullish divergence on the daily, right? So this is how I, go through my analysis. I'm like doing detective work over here. It's not about, this is what I mean, guys, when I say holistic picture. Don't isolate down onto only one freaking indicator, guys. Don't ever do that. Be a detective.
Yeah. Oh, good catch on the bullish divergence there.
It's not triggered just yet, but
this could potentially trigger a double bullish divergence wherein we actually get a divergence play on, the RSI as well as the Stokes. And those actually have like a really, really good probability of actually playing out. So good catch on this. prudence is going to be important. Definitely step out of the picture and get a holistic view on what really is happening on the high time frames as well as the low time frames. Now, just to kind of point out one thing, Sean, that I'd mentioned on the 4-hour time frame, this is what I mean. This descending triangle that Sean marked out could also potentially be a symmetrical triangle in the forming.
Yep.
Okay, at which point the break is only going to come in here at around that 23 cent region, 23, 24 cent region. But yeah, this is what XLM USDT is up to. I think we're still in that consolidation, and watch out for a 24 cent break or a break to the upside, and that will really sort of set the tone for what XLM wants to do leading into, well, next week. Now,
So let's
Sean,
talk about that. Let's talk about the targets if we do break to the upside, because that's where
yeah.
it gets exciting, right?
Yeah.
That's what the crowd is here for as well. And in my opinion, that's the most exciting thing about XLM. That's what I'm excited for at the very least, because it could have some really nice moves, man.
And that's the thing, XLM gets super volatile. Like, we just looked at the daily chart, right? And even, sorry, not the daily. So the daily was one where it's, you know, the price action is decent enough to actually get you into a position, whereas the weekly, it does not give you an opportunity. Now, that's a signature on XLM's chart, wherein as soon as it breaks and it breaks hard. Like, you're getting 109% per week. Right, so now I'm looking, so the measured move that I have for XLM USDT, Sean, say I'm just looking at the, you know, this triangle break, it would actually take XLM all the way up to 42 cents.
Okay, I do have a level marked out myself at around 44 cents, 44 to 45. So yeah, I trust your patterns though, so maybe you get front run on that, or perhaps the pattern extends a little bit and we take out even 45 cents, and the eventual big target for this is going to be all the way from around 62 cents to 75 cents.
Yes, and the thing is that that's plausible. You know, that's plausible because, I mean, I'm only looking at the measured move of the symmetrical triangle. But the thing is that if you look at this as a bull flag, suddenly that measured move goes up too.
Yeah.
Right, so this is like the minimum of the pattern play is at 42 cents. But so the thing about patterns, guys, and when it comes to measured moves and, you know, hitting targets overhead, we always have to make sure that price is actually going to take out the most immediate resistance overhead, which is still 31 cents. It's if and only if we can actually manage to take out 31 cents will I then be anticipating a move to 42 cents and then onward to 62, testing the highs.
Yep, I agree.
Right. Sean, any other notes on XLM USDT before we get onto the Bitcoin pairing?
Nope. I think you covered it all, Krisha.
All right, beautiful. Now let's get on to XLMBTC. Well, because, the dashboard called along on XLMBTC. So I'm very, I'm interested suddenly. All right, so XLMBTC, I'm looking at the weekly time frame. I think the weekly is still up against resistance, Sean. What are your thoughts on this? I'm looking at resistance at around 857 sats.
Exactly. I'm not seeing the long over here just yet. Yes, we are trending. We're beginning to start trending, but again, I would say in terms of if you're trading it against Bitcoin, I would be looking at more aggressive trades that are giving you almost immediate returns right now. So hey, that's just me though. If you're looking, however, I have to say this: if you're the kind of trader who likes to build a long-term position, right? Kind of like how I was doing on Link, right? I was doing that on Link because I like trading that chart. This chart actually does look like one of those, like, you know, that because when I zoom out over here, this move looks really juicy. In fact, I would say that if we do break a weekly candle above 1,100-ish, right, Satoshi, we have a 150% move against Bitcoin over here.
Yeah.
And you'll be in position if you're looking to accumulate around these levels. You'll be in position at around 750 to 800 Satoshi, and that is already a 50% move before the break, right? So you'll be you'll already be 150 to 200% move in profits by the time the entire move is done.
Yeah, man, this is gonna get so volatile. Oh my god.
Yeah. So this is the kind of chart that it pays to kind of accumulate if the trade goes through.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. So XLMBTC, at least on the weekly time frame, I do believe, Sean and I do believe that we are up against resistance. But if and when it does break, the volatility is going to kick in pretty quickly. And well, it's going to be intense. So this is XLM on the weekly. Let's get on to the daily too, Sean. I want to see how we're doing on the daily. And okay.
So now here's the thing. This is where I can bring in some insight because I did trade XLM in the last run, and we did break on the daily above that weekly zone at around 1,100 Satoshi. I was looking for that follow through, which never came, right? And I had to get out of the trade. So that's one of the reasons why it's important to be marking out the weekly levels for sure, but you also have to be very careful if you don't see the follow through if you're taking the trade on the dailies. So be very careful of that, guys. Just an example of a trade not working out. We got in at around 950 Satoshi. I was looking for this to continue and break onward and upward. It did have some continuation all the way up to 1,100, but you can see it just gave up. And it's done that again. It did it again. Now, I wasn't part of that move, the one in December-ish 2020, but did the same thing again, Kusha. It closed dailies above these weekly levels, and on the Bitcoin pairing at least, not seeing the follow through.
Yeah, so is there any level now that we're on the daily time frame, is there any level that that you think would give you confirmation on a break?
Again, if we do close a weekly above that zone, right? Because that weekly level has been respected to the T at around 1,100. If you get that perfect weekly close, that's going to be the easiest trade. The thing about taking the trade early on the daily or the 2-day or the 4-day is you are making that trade off of confirmation. You are saying, hey, I want to pay less by getting in a little bit early, right? But in return of paying less for my trade, I am risking it not going through. Right. So that's a trade-off that I was making on the trade. So I had to deal with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you close a weekly above this, I think that it'll go. But the question is now, has XLM put traders in that mindset where they're not trusting the candles anymore, so much so that even when we get the weekly candle close above 1,100, they don't trust it? I've seen that happen. Okay. And it's some of the most obvious trades where people don't take it. And then it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. In fact, I've seen that happen on Cardano. That was such an easy trade. But people didn't want part of it because in the past, they were burnt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking. So another thing I've noticed about XLM, now you're right in that, like, it's messy. Essentially, XLMBTC is a messy chart, and it's very hard to gauge, that break, because I mean, you could see a break on your weekly levels only for, well, price to come back down and close underneath the resistance that you just took out, right? So when I was when I was playing XLM, I noticed that as long as the Bitcoin chart is looking relatively decent, and say the XLM USDT chart gives you a break and a proper break into a volatile range, there's a good chance that XLMBTC is also breaking up.
Yeah.
So that's how I sort of gauge whether or not XLM will perform against its regions of resistance and support, and whether or not it's going to hold. Because even like XLMBTC, like XLM USDT, XLMBTC also has like some crazy volatile candles to the upside when it does start to move.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. But yeah, I think XLM still has some way to go before we actually see either one of the charts moving. And any other final notes on XLM?
No, Kusha, I think we covered it all, and we've kept the audience's eye on the bigger picture while also making sure that they understand the opportunities as well as how to manage those opportunities.
Yes, sirree. Now, this is looking half decent, still in consolidation phase. Now, for as far as, well, the rest of the altcoins go, as well as Bitcoin, we will be covering that in the live stream, so make sure to tune in, and yeah, I'll catch you guys there. With this, guys, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao.
Bye, guys.